Welcome to Let's Connect. It is January 4th, 2022. It is a brand new year. Want to wish all our listeners out there on Facebook Live, also on YouTube, and those of you listening on 88.5, a very wonderful Happy New Year. Hope it was wonderful and prosperous. We want to start out with our shout outs this evening. We're going to shout out the community, the wonderful, wonderful community of Barron's Drive. Big up to Barron's Drive. I want to shout out Terry Joseph, better known as Tra of Barron's Drive, for his wonderful testimony over the holidays. I want to give a big shout out to the people of Force-Jacques, the communities of Mini, Belvedere, Saint Philip, Esperance, Boisden, Belfort. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. I want to shout out the people of Zenor, the people of Colabet, the people of Sulphur Springs. Hope you guys are enjoying January so far. I want to give a big shout out to the people of Palmis and Fort Bennier, our people up in New Development, especially Mr. Edward D'Souza. I missed out on shouting out your birthday at my last show, so I regret that. So happy belated birthday to Mr. Edward D'Souza of New Development. Big shout out to the people of Wingsville, those of you at Church Street, those of you in the town center. Want to give you guys a big shout out. Happy New Year to the people of Boisden, those of you in Belfort, Chateaubelair, and Mont-Lacroix. Those of you up at Fort Jalib and Belle Plaine, Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you guys in Margaret Toots. Hope you're doing well. Big shout out to the Riverside crew. Big shout out to Smoke Hill and Market Road. I want to shout out the Gulf and those of you at Diamond and Deville and Eatongs. Want to shout out the Fort Bennier Passy and the Palmis crew, especially Miss Lucretia Serville of Palmis. Hope your new year started out great, my dear. And also, we don't want to forget those of you at Fort Caco, and a big shout out to those of you in Lenny's Hill. Happy New Year to all of you. I want to thank all those of you who are on our live. Thank you for joining us. We know our guest this evening, we're going to be having with us the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. He is on his way, running a little bit late, but we're going to be having with us the Prime Minister, Honorable Phillip J. Pierre, and also the Minister for Commerce and Parliamentary Representative for Soufrière Force-Jacques, Miss Emma Hippolyte. Before we begin with the rest of our program, I have unfortunately a couple of death announcements to read out. We want to say condolences to the family and friends of Miss Mimin of Fort Bennier who passed away. We do hope that her soul rests in peace. And it is with great regret that I announce that Marcella Maffrin, affectionately known as T. Marcella of Palmis area, has passed away at Comfort Bay in Vieux-Fort. Our deepest condolences go out to the families and friends of these two individuals. Please take note that you have the opportunity this evening to call into the radio program later on. The number is 730-5388. For those of you who will have the ability to call in to ask questions of our Prime Minister and our District Rep. Until then, we have a little bit of an entertainment segment while we wait for our guests to arrive. Okay, so while our DJ cues up some music for us, once again, I want to wish everybody a wonderful and prosperous new year. I want to give a big shout out to the Hippolyte family all over the island. We hope that you guys had a wonderful Christmas season, a wonderful New Year's. And I'm wearing red today because I'm feeling very celebratory because it's a new year, you know, new year, new vibe. I want to be very fancy this time around. We're very excited to be back with Let's Connect. I hope everybody enjoyed their holidays. And we're wonderful here at 88.5 Soufrière FM. I have all my wonderful 88.5 family here with me in studio. We've been having a very interesting conversation over the last 30 minutes about who's more hot and who's more cold. I'm always either the hottest or the coldest in the room. So today is one of those days. I'm hot and cold. So good evening to Miss Calixta Joseph, who is watching on the live. Also, Miss Viata Henry. Hope you guys had a wonderful New Year's. Happy New Year, Melanie Hippolyte. She's wishing best wishes to everyone in 2022 and beyond. Thank you for that. We echo those wishes to you guys. Who else is on the live? Say hello. I'm shouting out everybody. Happy New Year to Miss Classy Willow Prosper. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to us. Those of you on the live, it's your time now. Send out your shout outs. I'm reading them out. So give us a big holler. Let us know you're watching so we can give you a shout out right now. Happy New Year to you, Mr. Phillip. Thank you for joining the program. Good evening to you. Welcome, welcome all of you who's signing on. See the numbers are climbing. Thanks for joining us on Let's Connect on Sufra 88.5. It's a wonderful New Year so far. I'm a bit chilly today though, I'm sorry. Ooh, like I said, I'm either always the coldest or the hottest in the room. Today it's cold for me. Hi Monica Jean-Baptiste, Happy New Year. Where are our friends from St. Vincent? Miss Bowens, I'm looking for you. I'm looking out to see if you're there. Always tuned in. Want to shout out Miss Septima down in Barron's Drive. Always tuned in to the Let's Connect program. Hi, Remy Daisy. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year to you. Lucita Jean-Pierre, Happy New Year. Welcome from Brooklyn. Hi from the UK. Hi, Miss Henry. Happy New Year. Blessed and prosperous New Year to you as well. Thanks for joining us on Let's Connect on 88.5 Sufra FM. Welcome first-time viewer Marie Gloria Kidd with 2 Ds. Thanks for joining us. Happy New Year to you. Big up to Exciting Tours St. Lucia. Also to one of the hardest working councillors on the Sufra Constituency Council, Mr. Phillip. Miss Sandra Degazon, Happy New Year. Welcome for joining us from Brooklyn. How's the weather up in Brooklyn? Is it snowing? Let us know what the weather is like in your part of the woods right now. As we wait, our Prime Minister is currently on his way from Hotel Chocolat. So we're just waiting. Happy New Year and prosperous New Year to you, Francis St. Mary. Oh, Miss Sandra, I hope you're keeping warm. I wish I could send you some cocoa tea. Good evening from Montgouge. Happy New Year to you guys in Choiseul. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Connect. Miss Priscilla Emmanuel, thanks for joining us. I want to shout out my good friend, Auntie Josephine Paul in Diamond Sufre. Hope you're having a great New Year so far. Happy New Year to you, Hildreth Emmanuel, all the way in Brooklyn. Thanks for joining us on the Let's Connect program. Okay, I do believe our guests have arrived. We shall be joined very, very shortly. Okay, we're going to take while our guests join us on. Welcome back to Let's Connect on Super 88.5. I have with me in studio at this very moment the Honorable Phillip J. Pierre, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, as well as Honorable Emma Hippolyte, Parliamentary Representative for Soufrière for Saint-Jacques. We have a good bit of interesting topics tonight, but remember that the phone lines are also open. You can call in later on at 730-5388. Also, I am on the live chat, so if you have any questions or comments, I will be reading them on live. We'll go first of all to Ms. Emma Hippolyte to address her constituents. Ms. Emma Hippolyte, good evening.
Thank you, Reneata. Good evening, Soufrière. Good evening, Saint-Jacques. Good evening, Barons Drive, Palmis, Font-Bernier, Château-Belair, Diville, Font-Jalib, tout le monde, Etangs, Myers-Bridge. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm very pleased to be here. I'm very pleased that our Prime Minister has graced us with the presence. So this evening, we'll have a little chat with you. All I want to do is to wish you well, to tell you that we are committed to working with you and for you, especially our young people and women. And we'll do all in our power to see how we can move things forward. So with these few words, I want to pass on the mic to our Honorable Prime Minister to say hello to you. And if you have any questions, please do so, because the Prime Minister has had a very long day. And he's very willing to have a chat to hear from you. We want to thank you as well, Soufrière for Saint-Jacques, for ensuring that the St. Lucia Labour Party is in office and for your support. But right now, we are government in office and we are there to serve all the people.
All right, thank you so very much, Ms. Emma Hippolyte. Honorable Prime Minister Phillip J. Pierre, your constituents of Soufrière for Saint-Jacques are wrapped and listening, ready for you. So please, good evening to you, sir, and good evening to your constituents, please.
Good evening, Reneata. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year. Wish you all the best. I hope you had a safe holiday and you enjoyed yourself, but we know the situation that we're in, so I hope that you exercise restraint. I want to wish all of you the best for the year 2022. I want to also thank you for electing the Honorable Emma Hippolyte to be the parliamentary rep, and I had the privilege to appoint a minister in my cabinet, and to thank you for making it possible for me to be the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. It's a position that I take with humility, and I want to thank you for it. You will soon find out that my style is very different. I'm accused of pleading and not leading, but I can assure you I lead effectively, and my style is different. I don't believe in noise. I believe in consensus. I believe in discussion. I believe in coming to a conclusion after everyone has put in their piece. But I want to thank you. I want to tell you, even though we elected Ms. Hippolyte, and I'm very happy for that, we're now a government for everybody. We are a government of inclusion. We are a government that doesn't practice political retribution. We are a government that believes that everyone has a right to live, work, and exist in St. Lucia. We are a government of meritocracy. We are a government that thinks that party colors should not determine whether you live or die. We've suffered too much from political victimization, political vindictiveness. We've suffered too much on projects being stopped because it was started by another party. I can promise you the Labour Party will not do that. Our style, or my style of leadership, is completely different, but my goal is to put the people of St. Lucia first, let the people benefit from what happens in the country. But I want to talk to you this evening about two things. Well, number one, I want to tell you that you have tremendous potential in Soufrière. I visited some properties today, and Soufrière is a beautiful place. And more than half of the tourists who come to St. Lucia come through Soufrière. And you have to find ways to make these people spend more in Soufrière. I want you to use your initiative to find ways and means of making Soufrière sustainable as far as tourism is concerned. I want to tell you that, and that is why, and some other point in time, not tonight, we'll discuss the whole concept of the youth economy. How you want to get you involved, the young people involved in doing things for Soufrière, doing things particularly for the tourists to be able to take away from Soufrière. And there are a variety of things we can talk about. Hair braiding, tattooing, a number of things which we can discuss. But tonight, we'll leave that for another time where we can go in fully to discuss that. So I want to tell you to make use of your natural beauty. Make use of what Soufrière is. Make use of it. But you must be accommodative. And you have to ensure that our visitors are welcome. And as I say into the foundation, I met them today. I was very impressed with what I heard there. You must not only look at tourism from outside. You must look at internal tourism. And there's a big market. The United States, many people don't understand, is a big tourist country. And there's a lot of internal tourism. People come from New York, holiday in Florida. They come from Ohio, holiday in California. That's internal tourism. So you can look upon Soufrière as a place to attract internal tourism, attract people from Castries, and come and spend a weekend in Soufrière. It's very possible and feasible if you develop a proper product. So think about it. You have to think out of the box in Soufrière. Think out of the box. We can't be tied only to situations of that's what we know, that's what we're doing. And I say to the foundation, let's have a look at the sulfur springs. This is one in a lifetime. Anywhere I go, people talk about the pitons and the sulfur springs. Are we using it properly? Let me have a look at ways of expanding the product offering from the sulfur springs. In this regard, you must look at strategic alliances. You must look at developing synergies between other people who know more about it than us. So it's exciting times. It's exciting times for us in St. Lucia. But there's one thing that I want to speak to you about. It's about COVID. And COVID has hit the entire world. Sometimes I feel very surprised when I see people read and write and say things as if COVID only exists in St. Lucia and we only have the answer for COVID in St. Lucia. The great United States, the great Dr. Fauci, and all the great scientists. And I just heard that they locked up a town in China, and the people there are revolting because they've been locked up in China. So I don't want us to believe as if St. Lucia or any government has an answer to COVID and we know where to go, we know what to do to solve it, and because of pleading or because of lack of leadership, we haven't solved the COVID problem. No government wants COVID to continue. COVID causes death, COVID causes isolation, COVID causes mental pain. COVID is horrible. But there is a solution. And I want you to take vaccination seriously. The government has not forced anyone to get vaccinated. What the government is saying is look at the science. And at some point in time, I got very criticized. I got criticized when I said follow the science. You understand? And when I said follow the science, I got criticized. In fact, what we have to follow is the science. But again, I want to develop a situation where people understand for their own benefit. I have confidence in the people of St. Lucia. I will not be arrogant about the people of St. Lucia. I will not call them names. I will not call them any names. I wouldn't say they are barking dogs. What I want to tell them is that they must believe in themselves. And to believe in yourself, I think people must think seriously of getting vaccinated. Our rate of vaccination is too low. The science has proven that the only effective way of bringing COVID under control is by vaccination. And even though right now there's an Omicron virus, if you get vaccinated, the science has shown you get less sick and there's less hospitalization. So please, think about it. Now, we speak about the ill effects of vaccination. There is nothing in the world that is foolproof. There's absolutely nothing in the world that is full. Think about everything in the world, from birth control to everything in the world that is not foolproof. It's said that there are some side effects. Just think about it. But the fact is, what percentage of the people who have these side effects? That is the question. What's the percentage? When you speak about a population where millions have got vaccinated and a few thousand have side effects, that is no criteria for us to be against vaccination, to put ourselves at risk. So I want you, the government has not made vaccination mandatory, but because I believe in people, and I have no problem in pleading to the people of St. Lucia to get vaccinated. Because the anti-vax sentiment is very intense in St. Lucia. But I want to tell you, again, the government has not mandated vaccinations, but the government is saying the best way is for us to get vaccinated. So I want you to go look deep into yourself and think about the millions of people who have got vaccinated and what is the effects of them. What has happened to them? The millions, and look at the percentage that have side effects. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your priest. Talk to your counselor, and please get vaccinated. We cannot continue on this track. Everybody says lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. But how can you lock down forever? Have you ever thought about the mental fatigue and the mental strain of social isolation? Have you thought about it? There's an easier way. There's a better way. Let's get vaccinated. So I want to thank you for listening to me. I think that it's an exciting year. This year, only 3 weeks ago, we welcomed 13 flights into St. Lucia in 1 year. In 1 day, sorry. The government is following its mandate of putting people first. In 5 months, I sometimes think people believe that in government for 5 years. But in 5 months, we've been in government. Many of our promises, we have fulfilled our promises. I know you asked me about the tax refunds. We are working on the tax refunds for the people of St. Lucia. And I'll tell you something. We are in the budget preparation. We are preparing our budget, the national budget for the country. Things are not nice. We did not get, I've not used the word inherited. I've tried my best not to use the word inherited. What I'm saying to you is that things were not good when we got it. We had $3.9 billion of sovereign debt. $3.9 billion of sovereign debt. We have over $600 million worth of other debts that we have to pay. And sometimes people tell you, fire this, fire that. Every day, the government has to pay people for the ill effects of the last government. But we are not complaining. The people gave us a mandate, and we're going to follow that mandate. So your Prime Minister doesn't plead. Your Prime Minister leads with passion, with compassion, with consensus, and with meritocracy, and with bringing people together, with inclusiveness.
Thank you so very much for your initial statement, Honorable Prime Minister Phillip J. Pierre. I just want to remind our listeners and our viewers on Facebook Live that our number to call in later on in the program is 730-5388. Once again, it is 730-5388, and you can also post your comments and questions in our Facebook Live chat. Prime Minister, while we're speaking on COVID, what can you tell us about availability of the booster shots of the Pfizer vaccine?
Well, I want to tell you, I've got double vaccinated and I've got my booster shot. And nothing has happened to me, and I feel a lot more confident. But I'm taking precautions. I'm socially distancing. I'm wearing my mask. I am observing all the protocols, even though I'm double vaccinated and boosted. All those who can, should. And there's something that we have to consider, vaccination for children. Because the Omicron virus, it is said, is very, very, very rough on children. So very soon, the Ministry of Health, and again, people expect me to make pronouncements on medicine. I'm not a doctor. I will not pretend to be a doctor. Our problem in this country is that too many people believe that they are everything. And we don't allow the professionals to do what they have to do. So very soon, the Ministry of Health, the Chief Medical Officer, will be making a statement on vaccination for children. Because school is opening, and that is an important thing. Whilst we're doing that, we're trying to see if we can get your laptops for you, your devices. We have an order out now for 3,000 devices for you. So 4,000 devices for you, the children, for the parents, for the children. So we are taking precautions if in case we've got to have some issue. But I wanted to think about getting your children vaccinated in the time coming.
Okay, thank you so very much for that encouragement for students, teachers, and parents. Because as we know, with the reopening of school, it is definitely a very stressful time. I want to take an opportunity to ask you about your recent trip to Dubai. I did see a very wonderful photo of you promoting our cologne by Darren Sammy. Is there anything else you can tell us about how that trip went?
Went very well. It's an export, it's a World Expo. Countries, in fact, next to St. Lucia was the booth for Afghanistan. Yes. Next to St. Lucia was Afghanistan. So the whole world is there. And St. Lucian products were well received. Your CMOS was very well received. Your our Darren Sammy perfume, our rums, our condiments, very well received. Our carnival was promoted. And St. Lucia, there were quite a few people who came through whilst I was there. I was very proud to be associated with the staff of Invest St. Lucia, Export St. Lucia, Miss Daniel, Sunita Daniel, and the staff of Invest St. Lucia, the staff of Export St. Lucia. And I think there'll be some major independence celebrations, independence observance of independence in Dubai on 22nd of February. I hope Omicron allows us to partake. But there's demand. People are asking for our products. We're asking for our CMOS in particular. So it all looks good. It all looks very good for us for the future. But we need to get this Omicron under control. And very sadly, a lot of the Omicron situation is beyond our control, except if we do what we have to do.
Okay, thank you so very much, Prime Minister. Honorable Emma Hippolyte, I understand that you are hosting a Women and Youth Entrepreneurship Forum tomorrow from 9:30 a.m. Is it going to be a full day forum? Can you tell us how is it going to take place? Is it strictly over Zoom, or are you going to be having an in-house session? Can you tell us some more about this forum?
Yeah, the session, the Youth and Women's Forum, we are hosting it at the Ministry of Commerce. In collaboration, we've invited the Minister for Gender Affairs, Dr. Virginia Poyet, who's also going to be first, and the Ambassador for Taiwan, because Taiwan is actually funding that program. The program is coordinated by the Safford Lewis Community College. We felt it was very important at the Ministry of Commerce to have this focus on women and bring our women together to share with them what we are trying to do for them, because as you know, women were very much affected by COVID, but women are the backbone of our small micro and small business sector. And there again, I want to thank the Honorable Prime Minister for focusing on the micro and small business sector. And that was our response to the women. We want to bring them together to say, hello, this is for you. Please take an interest in it. So we are hoping that persons would register onto the program, discuss what is happening with the program at Safford Lewis, what is happening at the Ministry of Commerce, what is going to happen at the Bureau of Standards, what is happening at Export St. Lucia, so they understand the support, how they can register their business and get support from the Ministry of Commerce. In a sense, it was to give them information, but also for us to get some information from them so that we can know how to tailor future programs and handholding. We needed to really get them to zero in on their needs so that we could go forward looking at what it is we're going to develop. So I want to take this moment to really invite young people, women in particular, but young people, women already in business, and whoever all the young people. This youth economy is important as well. How do we register? How do we get information? Because we can only help persons and develop strategic programs when we have information. So we sent the link out. I mean, all of New Year's Day, that's what I sat and did. I shared the link to everybody. So I'm really hoping that we have proper participation tomorrow, God willing. And persons who participate fully, answer the questions, send comments up so that we can then aggregate the data that we have and determine how we move forward with that sector. But small business is your moment. Young women that are unemployed, single mothers, that's your moment to register, to be considered as part of the program. We can enter the first cohort, which is before the end of the month, with 120 persons in 4 groups of 30 each, doing hospitality, IT, entrepreneurship, and early childhood. So that is your moment to register into that program. The first 2 weeks of the program, you're going to be exposed to the digital IT setup. And persons, for example, persons in Soufrière, I know we have asked you to try to work with the IT center here, so persons can go into that IT center and get the support that is needed. Also, I spoke to the lady in Foshajac, so persons in Foshajac without a device can go into the Foshajac IT center and they will be getting that support there. So really, I'm excited. We are doing that for you. Now is your moment. We have put you first. Now it is the time for you to put yourself first and get registered onto that program.
Those of you who are only learning of this information now, you can come down to the Soufrière constituency office tomorrow morning for the link and access to get registered. Or you can liaise with any members of the office via WhatsApp if you have contact with them, and they can share the link with you so that you can register this evening. Also, as you heard Ms. Hippolyte said, that you are able to use the Fossajac IT Center as well as the Soufrière Community Center to use their devices for those of you who do not have your own or who do not have internet at home. So there are other ways for you to participate. Remember that the program begins at 9:30 a.m. Okay, remember that the lines are open. You can call to ask your questions at 730-5388. That is 730-5388. Also, we are still accepting questions and comments in the Facebook Live chat for those of you who are unable to call. Okay? So, any other comments from you, Honorable Prime Minister, regarding our entrepreneurship program tomorrow or regarding the opening of school and devices?
Yeah, well, as I said before, we have an order of 4,000 devices. Supply issues may cause some little delay, but I want to tell the people that devices are going to be with you at some point. What entrepreneurship, you know, we have pushed the youth economy. The youth economy is very simple. It aims at turning hobbies into entrepreneurship and skills into business. Very simple. By providing training, marketing, finance, and mentorship. Basically, that's what the youth economy is about. We're going to tell you more about it. But we're going to have a unit of the youth economy in the Ministry of Economic Development. You're going to hear a lot about it after the budget. In the meantime, as the minister told you, we started the Women Entrepreneurship Training Program to get people trained, but very exciting, and stay tuned for the full rollout of the youth economy. It's a subset of the economic ecosystem for the young people of the country.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. Hippolyte, we announced earlier on that 2 members of the constituency passed away. Unfortunately, we lost Timasela. I know you say was one of your favorite persons to visit at the home. And also we lost Miss Mimin in Forbenye. I don't know if you want to share some condolences.
I want to take this moment to express my condolences to Errol, because Miss Mimin had only one son that I know is Errol. Again, Miss Miss Mimin as a family friend. Tima Salah was my personal friend for a long time, so I want to express my condolences to the children. It is always difficult to lose a loved one and to lose your mom. I know it's difficult, but I've always said that, you know, when you've lost someone you love, it's the memory and the relationship that you have that's going to carry you through. So I've had some conversation with Errol yesterday. I guess when I get back into constituency, I will see the trend of Marcella. But I also want to thank the staff at Comfort Bay for the work that you're doing in ensuring that our seniors get the right service and treatment. I also want to take this moment to thank our frontliners, our police officers, our nurses, our firemen and women for the tremendous work that they have been doing, especially under significant pressure, COVID pressure. And I want to thank them tremendously for this. I also want to thank our teachers as they prepare for school. I know it's a huge challenge to move from the mode of teaching that they had to now ensuring that they prepare for either one, in person or virtual. Again, so I want to thank them for what they're doing, shaping the minds, or molding the minds of our young people. Because if you mold these minds properly, then you are shaping our nation. So you have great responsibilities. I want to thank you for the work that you're doing. Our business persons, our vendors, I know it has been a challenge, Mr. Prime Minister, as we try to change tourism in Soufrière. We are working hard so that the tourism, the visitor stop for a while in Soufrière so that our vendors get something. So we're trying to change the product a bit. It's going to take a little while, but I want to please ask our vendors to be patient with us while we try to make these changes. And I want to thank the board and members of the foundation for the work that you're doing now as we try to ship that product again.
Talking about the product, I just want to ask about the violence that's happening in the country. And first of all, to express my condolences to the relatives of people who've lost their life because of COVID, and tell them another reason why you should get vaccinated. And the people who've lost their life, the violence in my constituency, I mean, we've lost about 5 lives, I think, in the last month in my constituency. Again, condolences to the people who lost, to the relatives of the people who lost their lives. It's very grief. No life is good to lose. And as to young people, try to resolve your conflicts. And it's something that the Soufrière Development Foundation must try to engage in, conflict resolution, talking to people about having workshops on conflict resolutions. We cannot reflect a society where our conflicts are resolved with violence. We can't. Too many young minds are being lost because of violence.
Okay, we have a phone call. Let's take that caller. Welcome to Let's Connect. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, caller.
Yes, hello. There.
Can you speak a little louder?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You're on live with Honorable Prime Minister Phillip J. Pierre and Honorable Emma Hippolyte.
Okay, good evening, lady and gentlemen.
Good evening, good evening.
Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Yes. I'm quite happy with the work that the government is doing so far. In as much as I would love to see more, but I quite understand that the finances of the country does not allow it to go at this rapid pace right now. However, I know I'm a little forward thinking, but I would love to see quick action be taken in terms of the special prosecutor.
The special prosecutor?
The special prosecutor, because over the past couple of months, I have seen, read, and heard this malfeasance that took place, and something has to start. I think, most importantly, the people of St. Lucia, like myself, want to see the beginning of something happening, whether in the form of legislation to have the prosecutor in place and something being done to get a team. You have to start the ball rolling, because we don't want to make a situation where people will say at the end of the day that they promised to do this and they never did that in terms of getting rid of the corruption or taking charge of the corruption or the corruptive behavior that took place in the last administration. We have to start the ball rolling now. We can't wait a year or 2 or 3 years of that term to start the ball rolling. Investigations should have started already. Documentations should be flowing like crazy within various departments of various ministries. Things should have been started already. We want to start the ball rolling. Whilst we understand that the government has to govern, but let us put that prosecutor in place. So that prosecutor take that aspect of it away from the government and do his job, his or her job. No government interference. Right? So whilst you're governing, the prosecutor is doing his thing. And when the day of blessing comes, where the axe have to fall, may it fall right there. And also, I am of the view that, that as of now, the government is on a sound footing. I hope that it continues along that vein, especially with the inclusiveness of the government. But I am quite happy as to what I'm seeing right now. And I can tell you, this is the first time I've ever seen, like I remember in the campaign they used to joke the Prime Minister about that little black boy from Basha and that stuttering little man. And that's the first time I ever see a black boy from Basha make a white man from wherever he comes from run away for 100 days, disappear for 100 days. And I believe that you started right, and you're continuing by the grace of God. You'll continue to do what's right by the people of St. Lucia. You have the humility, you have the grace, you have the poise, you have truth behind you. And like you said, whether they tell you you stammer, you always stammer the truth to the people of St. Lucia. Just continue along that vein, and with God by your side and St. Lucians by your side, all will be well with you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, caller. This special prosecutor legislation is being prepared now. We have to be very careful. So we have to be very careful. So we are getting everyone to look at it. But I'm going to show you it's being prepared as we speak. Work is going on it. And then, as to me, I want to thank you for the words of thing. But I'm a man from St. Lucia. That's what I am. That's what I am. A man from St. Lucia. I've been born. I have been nurtured in St. Lucia. My parents have served the people of St. Lucia. My mother was a teacher for all her life. My father was a policeman for all his life. I was born and nurtured in service to people. I like people. I'm not talking about, I refuse to speak about anybody's birth, where they were born, etc. We are all St. Lucians. Some of us were more privileged to be born with a golden spoon. Many were not. But what happens is not what you were, is what you are. And I want to stand by the virtues. I'll strive all the time to always serve St. Lucia for a level of integrity. This is what I want to be known for in public service. I've said before, I'm not a showman. I refuse to be a showman. I believe in consensus and inclusiveness, and that is how my reign as Prime Minister will be. And then that's how I am, and that's how it's going to be. But you're very correct on the idea to wipe out corruption, and we've had a few small steps in wiping out corruption, which many people have not either noticed or have forgotten. Our first thing was conflict of interest, and we said no board member or even a village councillor should be in the village council or any board if there was any intention to do business with that board. If you intend to do business with a board, you ought not to be on that board. And that is a small step to avoid conflict of interest. And we've done that. So to clean this country is a difficult task. We come in from a history of pajoa letters, etc. So to clean this country is a very hard task. And we are continuing, but small steps, and we want to do things correctly. So a special prosecutorialization is being proffered as we speak.
Okay, well, I'm happy about it. On the final thing, I saw for the first time in years, I saw St. Lucia, Lady Lucia was being cleaned in terms of the roads and the verges and what have you. I pray, I know that though the finances are not readily available, that we can continue along that vein to keep St. Lucia cleaner and for the step program.
We promised that. We promised a massive cleanup, and we delivered that massive cleanup, and we spent money on people, and I'm sure people had a better Christmas, and people had a better Christmas this year, but we are not very pleased, some of them who did not observe the protocols.
Yeah.
Because not observing the protocols for Christmas may create a lot of illness and possibly death in the new year. We pleaded with people to stay with their families, but a lot of them did not. I want to tell them again, there are going to be a new set of protocols that are going to be released very shortly. Please follow the protocols, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you very much, Kola. Thank you.
Thank you very much for doing the good work.
All right, thanks.
And as Jazz have died, you'll always be.
As my colleagues in the Rastafarian movement say, who Jah bless, no man curse, right?
No man curse. That's right. That's right. That's right. Sister Emma.
Yes, my brother.
Bonsoir.
Very good.
You speaking the right?
I guess, my lady.
Come.
Yeah.
James from the Republic of Labrador.
Ah, all right. Okay, so
You take care.
yes, thank you for calling and thanks for sharing with us. Yes.
All right.
Okay. So we've reached almost the end of the program.
I don't know if the Prime Minister would like to take one more question. I had a question closely relating to COVID in terms of our protocols that changed over Christmas and also relating to Carnival. Although we can end the program, it is already 6:30 p.m. I'm not sure if my DJ is allowed to give me any extra time.
So we can take one more question and end?
Okay. Yeah. So after the Christmas holidays, like you mentioned, we did have to change some of the protocols in terms of what activities could be held over New Year's. I noticed over social media that there was a lot of complaints and persons started speculating about whether if something similar occurred just before Carnival, if we would have to be worried about Carnival being cancelled. So if you could maybe address the hospitality industry in terms of whether or not Carnival will go ahead regardless.
Well, the Minister of Tourism has pronounced on something called Vax Mass. I will allow him to expand on that. But you see, the situation is very, very, very fluid. It's not static. Nobody knew about Omicron. Nobody knew about Delta. So
there's a new one, Floron?
No.
I heard there's another one already.
So people who are pretending that they have answers, it's actually hypocritical for people who pretend that they have answers. And that's why I don't really understand why people must pretend that we have answers to COVID. There are no answers to COVID. COVID is something that has affected the whole world. Dr. Fauci, the world's leading scientist, he has to pull back something he said before. I mean, the whole world. So I tell you, China has locked up an entire village for months. Russia, England has got to pull back. So when we pretend that we have answers to COVID, we're just being hypocritical, etc. But we have a set of protocols we wish everybody should listen to. So as far as the Vax Max is concerned, I can't make any pronouncements. It's touch and go, and let's see what's happening.
I could, to add to what you say, Prime Minister, I can never forget, very early within this whole COVID period, I can never forget Dr. Fauci in one conversation, I remember very clearly saying, this virus has enormous capabilities. I can never forget that statement. And I looked at my sister and said, these people don't know.
They don't know.
They do not.
And they admit they don't know.
Yes, I'm telling you,
But when St. Lucia, some people say they know.
Very early, this guy said, this virus has enormous capabilities. And to me, that was the statement that I understood, that we just have to respect this thing. This guy said, it is something new. They're trying to get answers for it. They will get some answers someday, but they're telling you they're going on, and we just have to try to go and see how to manage it. But they were saying that to us. We maybe not understood what it was. But definitely the issue of vaccination, as the Prime Minister has said, is one that we really need to try to make an effort to step up our game in that area, to protect each other. Because when you are exposed, if you're not vaccinated, and you get that virus, you are sick, stress on your loved ones, stress on the workers, the persons coming, the nurses, stress on the medical system, stress on everybody. So let us try to minimize and do the little that we can to manage this.
All right, we have another caller. Welcome to the Let's Connect program. Caller, good evening. We lost that call. Okay.
I would just have to say a few words in patois, because my patois people, moi voulais dire bonjour, moi voulais dire bonne l'année pour tous ces gens, tout coin ici, principalement Soufrière, Froché-Jacques, Château-Belair, toutes ces communes à Soufrière. Moi voulais dire merci pour support au Jabba gouvernement. Moi voulais dire mon content aujourd'hui à Premier ministre avec nous, il vient parler avec nous. Moi comprendre pour ces jours Noël là, nous essayer de tout le monde travail pour tout le monde la monnaie poche. Moi changer les aller à la place là, ces vendeurs là, tout le monde est happy dit miss bagay marche bien. Les moi aller Barons Drive, tout le monde dit moi miss bagay marche bien. Les moi vais Fauché Jacques, tout le monde happy dit miss bagay marche bien. Qu'on nous a dit toute l'air nous ka c'est ba où nous ka travail et puis nous ka essayer qui manière nous ka faire bagay la marché primaire. Moi voulais dire merci pour patience, merci pour travailler avec nous et puis un gouvernement qui a mettre au devant toutes décisions nous ni pour faire as affaires Covid ça là essayer qui manière ça regarder pour vacciner nous pour tenir corps garder tous ces protocoles là et pour garder pour bon Dieu ça tient nous en bonne santé pour l'année et puis plus tard passer ça. Oui merci et puis pour nous bonsoir.
Okay, so thank you once again to all of our listeners on 88.5 Sufra FM, those of you tuned in to us on Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and thank you to our callers, those who tried to call and did not get through, and to our gentleman caller who had a wonderful conversation with the Prime Minister. Thank you.
I also want to maybe say thank you to the staff of 88.5 for the tremendous work that they do in bringing us the church service every Sunday and for this new program. So Romanas, so I want to thank you and the other members of your team. I also want to thank Greg at 92.3 Liberty FM for the support and for the information and the communication network out there. It is only when we work together that we can transform Soufrière Froché-Jacques.
Right, great. We want to give another shout out to Minister Phillip, who wants us to tell you about his climb of Mount Jimmy on February 22nd, Independence Day, with exciting tours St. Lucia. So if you're interested in joining that climb, please contact Minister Phillip of Exciting Tours. Thank you once again for joining us on the Let's Connect program. I want to thank once again Honorable Emma Hippolyte, District Representative for Soufrière, and also Honorable Phillip J, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, for joining us on our Let's Connect program this evening. It has definitely been a wonderful evening so far. I want to thank all of you who participated, whether through the live chat or through calls or through sharing your well wishes off air. Thank you so very much for joining us. And any last words?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Soufrière. Thank you very much for you, my host, and our technical operator. Thank you for inviting me to Soufrière. I can tell you, in the representative of Honorable Emma Hippolyte, you have a representative that cares for people, but also cares for Soufrière. And that is the hallmark of our government. We care for people. And we will not bullrag people. We will ensure that we speak to people and we include people. So thank you very much. Thank you for your service, Minister Hippolyte. I know you could be many other places, join bigger salaries, but yet you choose to give service to the people of Soufrière. I want to thank them for electing the Honorable Emma Hippolyte. And as I said, Emma Hippolyte now has become the parliamentary representative for Soufrière, and not the parliamentary for any particular
party
set of people, but for Soufrière. Thank you very much, and do have a good evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us on Let's Connect. Leave it on Soufrière 88.5. I'm a DJ laughing at me this evening. Join us next week, 5:30 p.m. Thank you so very much, and remember, together let us transform Soufrière for Seja.